So, the United States and China have reached framework deal on TikTok. Trump and Xi Jinping, you know me, are going to be discussing it. So the United States and China reached a framework agreement to switch the short video app TikTok to U.S. controlled ownership. That will be confirmed in a call between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday. U.S. officials said TikTok has faced being switched off in the U.S. as soon as September 17th if the Chinese owner ByteDance didn't agree to divest. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it was possible the deadline could be extended to allow the deal to be finalized. Okay, the U.S. has got control over TikTok. It happened. It happened. It happened. Live and direct. It happened live on air. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's go and pull this up here.
U.S. and Chinese officials concluded a first day of talks on trade in Madrid on Sunday. They come as ties between the two countries remain strained, with Washington demanding its allies place tariffs on imports from China over its purchases of Russian oil, and as a divestiture deadline looms for Chinese short video app TikTok. The Madrid talks are the fourth time in as many months that the delegations have met in European cities to try to keep a fractured U.S.-China trade relationship from collapsing under President Donald Trump's tariffs. Trump has approved the extension of current U.S. tariff rates on Chinese goods, totaling about 55%, until November 10th. At their last meet in Stockholm in July, they agreed in principle to extend for 90 days a trade truce that sharply reduced triple-digit retaliatory tariffs on both sides and restarted the flow of rare earth minerals from China to the United States. However, trade experts said there was little likelihood of a substantial breakthrough this time around. Experts say the most likely result of the Madrid talks may be another extension of a deadline faced by ByteDance, the owner of the app TikTok. Currently, it must divest its U.S. operations by September 17th or face a U.S. shutdown. Trump addressed the TikTok question before he departed from New Jersey to Washington on Air Force One.
They're negotiating TikTok right now. We may let it die, or we may, I don't know, it depends, up to China. It doesn't matter too much. I'd like to do it for the kids. They like it. I mean, selfishly speaking, I did very well on TikTok, and I got the youth vote.
A source.
Of course, he'd make it about himself. Why? Of course he would. Hell, even Biden did a TikTok. Don't forget how this all happened. This happened under the Biden and Harris administration. So everyone's kind of going after Trump. Just remember who went after TikTok first. It was the Democrats. Remember that.
Familiar with the Trump administration's discussions on TikTok's future, said the deadline would be extended for a fourth time since Trump took office in January. TikTok was not discussed in Stockholm or other previous rounds of U.S.-China talks, but the source said the issue's public inclusion as an agenda item on the Treasury's announcement of the talks gives the Trump administration political cover for another extension. Several experts Reuters spoke to said they expected more substantive outcomes to be saved for a potential meeting between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this year.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi, will speak on Friday to complete the deal, but we do have a framework for a deal with TikTok. Getting to this framework was made possible by President Trump and the high regard that President Trump has for Party Chair Xi. So when the leaders have mutual respect, then the delegations have mutual respect. And as Ambassador Greer said, we were in substantial contact with President Trump last night and then again today.
So there you go. There you have it. Negotiations seem to be in the final phase. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, ByteDance can definitely, maybe throw a wrench in any kind of the dealings. But this is breaking news. TikTok going to have U.S. control. And hey, folks. Hey, come here. Come here, you. Come here. Sit down. Let me pat you on the head here for a second. There. Don't worry. What? Are you expecting anything to mess with the algorithm and rhyme? Like certain things no longer being seen, like political commentary on the left or the right, controversial imageries from wars, such as what's happening in the Middle East or in Ukraine, any kind of corruption or bribery. I mean, come on. No words being said. What could go wrong? It's not like there isn't oversight in our own online community spheres, such as in YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or X. What could go wrong in some ways? Well, the answer is a lot, maybe. Did I see this happening? Oh, I still held out to the audacity hope that maybe, I don't know, that maybe, this was all just posturing and that everyone would just leave each other alone. Oh, no. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I am actually surprised this really went through. Color me shocked. Hey. But now that it's happening, I could see how there could be some changes now that there's going to be more U.S. control over TikTok. Tickety-tock. I think there was a little bit of some jealousy too, because, TikTok being a very popular app, making Silicon Valley look bad. Silicon Valley, you got to up your game, because right now, if TikTok is like right now in our possession, fine, but that's not going to stop the other competitors creating apps in which Americans will consume. And by the way, who knows? Maybe this is a blessing for China, now that the U.S. will have some control over TikTok, right? And I'm going to tell you why, because I think the people of China saw firsthand just how dumb some of us can be on TikTok. I mean, it's not like it like people got stupider. It just made the magnifying glass just that much wider, how dumb some of us can be. Some of those TikTok challenges out there, like licking toilet seats or doing other unsanitary things, says a lot about us. But then again, stupidity doesn't know any borders, neither does censorship or control. Brave new world. I remember simpler days.
SWAT team took your neighbor today. Watched them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? We are collecting the dust of better days. They're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they've taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, and they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they once changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. SWAT team took your neighbor today.